Welcome back, humor consumers, to the Life Happens Laugh Anyway podcast. I'm comedian Tracy DeGraff.
And I'm Catherine, and we're best friends.
Yeah, we are. Today, our topic, you're listening to episode 4, by the way.
Ooh.
I know. We're going to be in the double digits soon.
Yeah.
Remember when you were a kid and you turned 10? Do you remember that?
I do.
It was a big deal.
It was a very big deal.
I broke my leg that day.
That's a big deal.
I remember it. Yeah. Welcome to the double digits. Anyway, we're on episode 4 today. And Catherine, tell our humor consumers what our topic is today.
Our topic is about going gray or silver, whichever you prefer to call it.
Or
right?
Sparkly. Some people
sparkly.
call it letting your sparkle shine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're cults.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the cult.
Yeah.
And we do have sponsors. We mentioned that in our last episode. We have sponsors for our podcast, and they are our husbands, and we call them
Muffin and Pooh.
Yay. It's our little pet name for our husbands. I know it's kind of like roll your eyes and go, we on. We've only been married for 3 decades, whatever. Anyway, they are our sponsors, and we're also soon to have set up, and maybe by the time we launch this particular episode, we will have our Patreon page set up. So we encourage all of you humor consumers to consider sponsoring us with a Patreon donation so that we can continue to do this, because it does have a little cost involved.
Mm-hmm. It does.
Yeah. So if you would like to continue hearing us do this and just believe in what we're doing, you can sponsor us, and it can be as little as $5 a month. So that's pretty cool. All right. We ready?
We're ready.
All right. Let's dive in. Well, one thing that I thought we should talk about with going gray. First of all, Catherine and I both how long have you been letting your hair go natural?
I was just thinking about that, and I thought, gosh, when did I start that? I think it's been 3 years already.
So are you fully transitioned out? Is that?
I think so.
Okay.
I think that it's,
okay.
That's as gray as I am, which is not very much, really.
No. Catherine does not have very much gray hair at all. I, on the other hand, am fully white.
Casper.
That's my skin tone, Catherine.
It's both.
Okay. Catherine makes fun of me because I'm lily white Casper. We went to the cosmetic store, and she was helping me pick out a foundation color, and she's like, they don't have one light enough for you, Casper.
I said you have shade ghost.
Okay. My hair color, if you're listening and you've not been to my website, you can go to my website, by the way, to view my hair color. My head is on my picture, and it is white.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
It is.
Yeah. And it's white, super white around my face, but in the back, it's more like a slate gray or ashy gray, or I don't know what to call it.
Charcoal.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah, not
ashy.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it looks like cigarette ashes or something.
Yeah, it does actually.
Yeah. So there are many ways that women can choose to go gray. I chose to go cold turkey.
You sure did.
Wow. I sure did. And it was torture. It was torture. I think my hair was maybe just to the tip of my shoulder, like not
very long.
It was not very long, but it wasn't super short when I started. However, I measured my longest piece of hair when I started the grow out, and I figured it was going to take me 20 months to get it fully transitioned.
Yeah.
Now, when you only have a few little sparkles on your brown hair, that's not too noticeable of a deal if you do a cold turkey grow out, which you did too.
Mm-hmm.
But yours wasn't very noticeable because you have a lot of brown in your hair.
Right.
I, on the other hand, with the contrast, was like a skunk. I mean, my roots were just growing out, and I have this bit in my act. So we're going to have to see if we can find a soundbite of the gray hair bit, and we'll insert it
play
here.
It right here.
Yes. And anyway, when the roots are that much of a contrast and you're doing the cold turkey grow out, it's a thing. It's a thing.
Yeah.
And you got to make a commitment.
Mm-hmm.
There were so many times that I was like, oh, I can't do it. And, I was obsessed with my hair.
I would agree. But like you said, it's a commitment. And you have to stick to it if you really want to see what you look like when it grows out. And you have to be able to withstand those comments you were getting. Remember?
Very true. I would get comments even at church, which really bothered me. It really did. I would go to church with my head on top of my shoulders and my hair. I
Thank God.
Right? But there I was with half of my hair white and the other half of my hair brown. And women would come up to me thinking they were complimenting me and say something like, "You're so brave."
Or, "That looks good on you."
Oh, gosh, yes. How many people said that to me? It's fine for you,
right.
You peons, you ugly people. Have the courage to go out in public looking like that.
People who let themselves go.
Exactly.
Who don't care anymore.
Obviously, you've crossed the rainbow bridge. Oh. So cold turkey is one way to do it, but it's not the only way. So another way to do it is shave your head. I've seen people do this.
That just seems so extreme to me.
It is extreme.
I've not heard of that, of people doing that. But then again, I don't belong to a support group like you do.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to get into that a little further down in the podcast of how that's okay.
I spoke too soon.
That's okay. Of how to survive the transition with support. It's really like it really is like an AA situation,
Okay.
Anyway, I have seen people shave their heads. Now, back up. Truly, what got me kind of going down the go natural path was as you know, Catherine, my bestie, I am a breast cancer survivor. So, yay on the survivor part, right? Hello. In 2016, I had diagnosis of breast cancer, and I had treatment for it. And I remember thinking, hey, if I'm going to lose my hair, I'm going to just let it grow in natural. I want to see what color is my hair. I had been coloring my hair for more than half my life. I'm like, I want to see what color my hair is. Thankfully, my treatment didn't require chemotherapy, so my hair didn't fall out.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, dang, I really wanted to see.
Mm-hmm.
And my hairdresser, who's also a friend of mine and Catherine's, she was, that was Kathy.
Mm-hmm.
She was about to retire or getting close to retirement. But I think she would have told me this even if she wasn't about to retire. But she just encouraged me to let it grow out.
Mm-hmm.
She said, it's going to be beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Just stop coloring. I'm like, really? Just cold turkey like that? I've been doing this for so long, and you want me to just stop now?
I don't think you needed anyone to twist your arm anyway, because I can remember when we used to go for walks, and this is, way before you had cancer, and we would talk about when you used to try to color in the roots with mascara. And you have a whole YouTube thing on that, but you used to, I can recall that you would say, I really wonder what it really looks like.
Right.
Like how much white or gray or whatever did you have? I remember
I was curious.
pondering that.
Yeah, I was really curious.
It didn't come as a big surprise.
Right.
Yeah.
So on these Facebook groups, I have seen the whole gamut of ways that women get to being fully transitioned to their natural hair color.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about what we did, you and I did, which was cold turkey grow out.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's the shave the head thing. It is extreme. It's an extreme thing, but it's done and over with. Mm-hmm. It's almost like people who would prefer to just jump in the pool and not just inch their way in like you do. Now, there's another way that I don't even know if you're familiar with this, but it's like you do a partial color. So you would continue to color just the top of your hair. So just like where your roots are, where your part is. But underneath, you would allow all of that to just continue to grow naturally gray. So if you were to move your hair and part it in a different spot, you would see your grow out. I considered that because I had been using the mascara as a little touch-up, right? But then I thought, once you get all the way grown out like that, you're going to have to then grow out the part that you've been coloring. You know, if you keep coloring one little section and the rest of it is all gray, and then they say, well, then you just move your part. Well, then now you've got this wonky side over here that you have to start. The process takes twice as long. I was like, that's not for me.
Yeah.
But some women have jobs and they have to dress, you know, not now with the pandemic, everybody's, I mean, and by the way, with the pandemic, I have seen a lot of people with the half head of gray hair. Have you?
I have too.
Yes.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
People who are like, well, I'm sheltered in quarantine. Now's the time.
Right. Might as well
Who
just see
cares?
what we've got.
We don't need lipstick. We don't need hair color. We
Nope.
don't even need to brush our teeth.
No.
Okay, maybe that's going too far.
Right. But it's true. Yeah. So that's an interesting way to do it. And then the fourth way that I know of to transition to fully gray is to strip all the color out of your hair. That is risky. Now, you know, there are young women who are actually, they would love to have like my color hair. Not my wrinkles and such, but my color hair. They're like my nieces are in their early 20s and they love my hair color. And one of my nieces is a hairdresser now. She's, you know, through her schooling, and she says that she cannot even get this color. It's that difficult to process and create. You know, I'm like, well, God gave it to me for free. Stripping all of the color out of one's hair is chemically damaging. So that you have to be willing to take on that risk. And in those Facebook groups that I'm in, a lot of times people will just tell their horror stories of, you know, they did this process and then all their hair broke off and then they had to shave their head.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's rough.
That would be awful.
Yeah.
You know, all I can think of is that commercial way back when. I'm going to wash that gray right out of my hair.
Yeah. You know, and emotionally, so like when I was telling you that story, you're visualizing what that would be like if that was you in that experience of having your hair break off and then you got to shave your head. That would be emotionally difficult. And we're conditioned, right, from the time that we're little, like that little jingle just bounced right back into your head awfully quick.
Yeah.
So we're conditioned to look younger and to be vibrant and, you know, stay hot or, well, I'm hot now.
Temperature hot, Tracy?
Yes.
Or
yes, temperature hot. Before we're in the pod lab, which is also known as my master closet, and there's a little heater in here. And I turned it on for Catherine before she got here, and it got so hot I had to open the window.
and turn off the little heater
Yes.
that produces big heat.
Yeah.
Little heater, big heat.
Yeah. So we're adjusting to that as well. Okay, so can you think of any other ways that women could transition to?
Well, I kind of
natural?
was thinking that this goes along with one of the methods you were saying, but to dye your hair as you go. You know, to dye it with highlights, silver and white.
You know
or
what?
whatever.
That's true. They can do that
Yeah.
to kind of camouflage the transition as it comes in.
Mm-hmm.
But it's tricky. And it takes a lot of expertise on the hairdresser's part to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the reasons why, since my hairdresser was retiring anyway, I just decided, forget it. I'm just going to let it grow natural, not worry about it, and just own it.
Mm. And you did.
I did.
You sure did.
Gosh, I remember when it was one of my son's friends hadn't seen me for a while, and then we were at the high school football game. And I don't remember if I told you this, but I was walking, and there was my son with his friend, It was my son Caleb, my youngest.
Okay.
So he was with his friend. They were like running around with all their buddies or whatever. And his friend knew me from coming over to the house and stuff. And he hadn't been over in a long, long time. And he saw my white hair and he couldn't help himself. He couldn't. His eyes got real big like saucers, you know, and he just looked horrified, you know. And I just wanted to smack him, but I didn't.
And he's too young to claim the Marie Antoinette syndrome.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
No.
Oh,
What is that?
It's that's used to refer to when one goes like white overnight. They say that that's what happened to her, but it's not possible.
Oh,
So it didn't really happen, but
I see.
yeah, it's an old
Well,
thing.
he was just shocked because I looked like a freak. Let's put it that way.
to him you did.
Well, yes, because I don't think he really realized that women of my age all color their hair.
Right.
He doesn't know.
Right.
Now he knows.
Yeah.
Tell him the truth. I'm going to lay down some truth. You just step right up, young 15-year-old. Here we go.
Maybe he was horrified because he thought he saw a ghost.
Maybe. Maybe I'm going to haunt him.
Well, you're a friendly ghost, though, so.
That's true. That's true. But I did want to hurt him.
No.
But I have the Holy Spirit held me back.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about when women should go natural. What do you think?
I really don't know. I mean, I think that if you just are feeling it, then do it.
Yeah.
Because you can always color it if you know you change your mind.
That is so true.
I think also in cases like yours, you're faced with cancer, and then you start thinking about chemicals and entering your bloodstream, things like that. No, I don't know.
I have to ask you this question. When you let yours grow out, did you feel like I pressured you to just...
Funny you ask me now while we're recording. Put me on the spot.
I didn't want to talk about it beforehand.
No, you were just encouraging, and I know that was ultimately what you wanted to do, was to encourage.
Yeah, because it's hard to question your own motives, and I truly do believe now that I'm fully transitioned, I look back at pictures of myself when I was coloring my hair, and the colored hair, it was just way too harsh against my ghostly white skin. And the older we get, the more our skin does change, in texture, and it changes in color. And you know me, I don't go out in the sun. I hate the sun, and I wear sunscreen every single day.
Yes, you do.
Yes. You say that with such love and compassion.
Sometimes I'm like, Tracy, where is the sun?
It's in the sky.
I know.
The rays are coming out.
I do know that. I'm just exaggerating because I feel like it.
Oh, that's okay.
I just thought of something.
What?
When you asked when is a good time.
Yeah.
Another time is when you run out of money. Well, that's when you say, I need to cut back.
Yeah.
And so I think I'll do it with this expenditure.
Okay. Here's the thing too. The younger generation, you know how they're trying to get their hair silver and all that. I wish that somebody would have said to me 20 years ago, why don't you just see if you like it? Maybe you will. Because I just I started to go gray when I was only, 25.
Wow.
Yeah. I started coloring my hair at the age of 25.
Gosh.
Yep. I had just had Luke, my second son. Go figure. It's all his fault.
I didn't start coloring my hair until I was in my 40s. So it was late.
Okay.
I mean, I had some gray strands.
Yeah.
But I was encouraged by my cousin's daughter. We're very close.
Yeah.
Caitlin.
Yeah.
And she said, I can color your hair.
Right,
And
just
I
for something
said,
different. Not necessarily to cover gray, but...
Well, to her, yes, it
Oh.
needed to be covered.
Of course.
But for me, I was like, I'll just do what you want. Play with my hair. I love it.
Yeah.
So, so I let her do it.
So the point is, for women listening, regardless of your age, if you haven't colored your hair yet, probably the easiest way to go gray is to not color. It's almost like smoking. If you don't start, you don't have to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe that it's the most natural way is just to let nature take its course and let your hair color do what it's naturally supposed to do. Now, that's easier said than done.
It is easier said than done. I was just about to say to you, yeah, but Tracy, you're brave. You're courageous. And there we are, back at that comment.
However, we're in a different fashion cycle now, because when I was 25, no young 25-year-olds were trying to get their hair to be silver or gray.
They wanted to wash that gray right out of their hair.
Exactly. And I think it was Kelly Osbourne who was possibly one of the first celebrities who colored her hair gray, Ozzy Osbourne's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And she colored her hair gray and kind of started a trend. And then some of our older actresses and models or whatever, they started embracing their gray. Like, who did we say? Jamie Lee Curtis. She's definitely a gorgeous, natural colored, mature actress.
Mm-hmm.
Did we say Diane Keaton?
Did she? Oh, yeah, she did too.
I think she did.
You know who has beautiful hair, and now her name is escaping me, but it's Gwyneth Paltrow's mom, but she doesn't have the same last name. I want to say Danning. Oh, good goodness.
Oh, somebody tell us what it is. I can picture her, but I can't think of her name either. But so what I'm getting at is that I believe that the fashion trend and the societal pressure to keep your age under wraps, with the dye, is different today.
Mm-hmm.
And there's more awareness. There's more chemical awareness, it seems, on, like, have you ever heard the term chemical load?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that is one of my motivations for not wanting to put the hair color on my head, is because I don't want additional chemicals in my body messing with my hormones, because my breast cancer was a hormone-fed tumor. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that led to the tumor. I don't think it did. My doctor didn't think it did. I asked him. He said there's no scientific proof, but it can't help you in that regard, but it's not necessarily known if it hurts you. Although now they've done studies that show that hair color can lead to some breast cancers.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I had said that I didn't start coloring my hair till I was in my 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the reasons was because I didn't want chemicals pouring into my skull.
Look at you.
But then after I had it colored, I was like, oh, I like it. And then I became addicted.
Yeah.
I really did. And I started to think, oh, gee, so many women are doing it anyway. And they seem to be fine.
Right.
And but I knew when I used to get perms back in the 80s and 90s how much I could feel the solution sinking into my, like, stinging almost my skull.
Oh, for sure.
And so I knew if that was doing that, then color and dye was going to sink into my skull as well.
And our friend Kathy, who was my hairdresser, she ended up having to retire because she had a breakout on her hands, a skin condition that she thought was related to, she couldn't handle chemicals anymore. So she might have had too much. Her system maybe was like, I can't do this anymore. This is going to be harmful. She
Even
had to
through
quit.
gloves? Did she wear?
Yeah, she couldn't. Well, she always wore gloves, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But, once her hands would still get into the chemicals, because you're rinsing their hair out and it gets under the glove. It's not like it's, surgical situation.
Mm-hmm.
So chemicals are a big thing. Okay, so as far as when to stop coloring or choose a pathway to your natural color, really it's up to you, right?
Yeah.
And I agree with you, Catherine, in terms of, I have said to women, what have you got to lose to find out? Go through the process, whichever one you choose, And any one of those ways that we mentioned earlier about how to get to naturally transitioned, they all take a level of awkwardness.
They do.
There's going to be, and so you got to basically choose which one of these awkward situations are you the most comfortable with and go for it.
Right.
But you got to be willing to get out of your box and feel a little weird.
Yeah, when I was letting mine grow out, there was a look that I did not want. You know about it.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, and I shared it with you, if I look like this, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people were telling me that it looked good and it looked, so.
It looks very natural, and it's like a sparkle. Like right now, I'm looking at Catherine's hair, and the light from the ceiling is shining down on just a few of your grays, and it's like tinsel.
Oh.
I know, you look like a little Christmas tree.
Oh. Merry Christmas.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, and I used to think it was fun to pull my hair back.
Yeah.
Because that's when you can really see it. When I put my hair up in a ponytail or something, that's when you can really see it because it's underneath mostly.
Well, and that's the other thing that I think is so unique and interesting about letting our natural gray show is the pattern. Everybody's got a different gray pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And like our friend Jackie has the most unique and beautiful
she does.
coloration. There's a nice mixture of white and then not white and then darker. It's really it's striking. It's gorgeous.
Well, the back of your hair kind of looks like that.
Yeah, my variation of color gray, I think they do call it a gray color pattern, is unique. It's unique to me. And the Lord gave it to me, and I do love it.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I love that my hair is not all one color.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was coloring it, I ruined it before I let Kathy. Kathy had to fix it. I looked like the texture of a charcoal brick.
Well, what happened was your hair just kept getting darker and darker. It was not that dark before.
Right. But I was over-processing it until it was black and dull. Mm-hmm. It was like matte black. It was bad.
Oh, you know what I was just thinking of about, just letting it go. And I'm looking at how white your hair is. I can recall when I was younger, and actually even not that long ago, and we would call all silver hairs, older people, cottonheads.
Yeah, right.
And now we're
especially
there.
You,
are there.
Thanks, Cat. Yeah, the cottonheads.
The cottonheads. That's just clump
all right,
those
let's
people
move
together.
On. Oh my gosh. So I don't think we've talked about my driving yet on this podcast. Did we?
I don't know.
Well,
probably not.
Okay, so I have white hair and I drive a Buick. And that's about all you need to
know.
know.
A big Buick. And we're not talking a Buick like crossover SUV.
No.
We're talking old lady Buick.
It is an old lady Buick.
Yes.
It is big.
Next, I'm going to look for the little Post-it notes on the steering wheel. Don't forget to get gas. Check the speedometer.
Go to the bathroom before you leave home. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's so funny. All right, let's move on. We talked about how to grow gray or go gray. We talked about when. Now let's talk about why. Why? Why did you decide to go gray?
I was curious.
Okay.
That's the main reason. I was curious, and I would say too that your encouraging was kind of enabling me more, maybe
like giving permission. I feel like, because I've had people tell me that I've inspired them to go ahead and just embrace their natural color. Mm-hmm. I'm happy to do that, and I hope that I can inspire somebody now, even sharing this story, and all these different things. Not that I think that everybody should stop coloring their hair if they don't want to, but if they want to, they should.
Yeah. To this day, though, I sometimes think to myself, I think I'm just going to go back to coloring it.
Do you really?
I do sometimes. I think, I want to look younger. And so I don't want to do anything real dark and drastic, especially since I've been lighter for so long, but just something a little bit more, auburn, which I naturally am.
Yeah,
Well,
you are, because you do have on the ends, you have like an auburn color.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so every now and then I'm tempted.
Well, and even if you were to, succumb to that temptation and go ahead and color your hair, then, you just go from there and see what you want to do. Hair is hair.
Yeah.
For me, time and money were important because, I had been through this experience of facing cancer, and all of a sudden time is a commodity, right? Mm-hmm. Because what I was told when I sat across from the oncologist and they looked at me and said, "We want to give you 30 more years." And I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, that's it?"
Right.
That's all you got in your bag of tricks is 30 years. And time, when you're faced with your own mortality, it's like, wow, I really don't have an endless amount of time on this earth. And I was spending a lot of time. Every 4 weeks, I had to go and get it colored. Every 4 weeks. And at 3 weeks, I was pulling out my mascara wand and filling in the skunk stripe. So it would only look good right away. And then, because my hair grows very quickly, and I have very thick hair, you can't hide it, and it's shiny, white, silver.
Yeah.
So time and then money, I have done the math. I added up how much I've probably spent.
Oh, yeah, you've done that.
Yeah,
right?
I have. Let's just say I could be driving a much nicer car. That is one of the things I say in my bit.
A bigger Buick.
A crossover.
Yeah.
Not so old lady-ish. Right? And of course, we already talked about curiosity as, what if it looks great, and here I am spending my time, my money, and I'm putting all these chemicals on my head. What if it looks great and I'm covering this great feature that God has given me and I'm just hiding it? Why? So the curiosity factor. And then, of course, we talked about the chemicals. So I was not mindful of chemical load prior to being a cancer survivor, and doing research on that and all that stuff. But I think it is something that women think about.
Or they should.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, segueing into this last segment that I have, and then we have some trivia questions, right, that you're going to go through?
I could do some.
Okay. Surviving the transition, we already mentioned Facebook groups.
Tell them about yours.
They're support groups. They're support groups, and they're on Facebook, and, you can find any kind of support group.
I did not know that.
Oh, wow.
Not until you told me that you joined a Silver Hair Sisters support group.
Exactly.
I was like, what?
Now, here's what they do. They tell you their story, and they encourage you to keep going. Just like a AA group or a Weight Watchers group. It's kind of like we're all in this together. We all have the same sort of issue, and we're encouraging one another. Now, here's what does happen in those groups, though. Sometimes you'll have people, just like in any group of people, there are those who disagree, right? Like there'll be some people that'll say no chemicals ever, and you're bad and dumb if you ever put a chemical on your body because it's so bad for you.
It's a little judgmental.
Well, it's an extreme viewpoint, and they don't really have room in that. In their viewpoint for somebody else's viewpoint. So you see that sometimes on those groups. It's almost like the radical. They're radical one way, and then they have like their extreme radical on the opposite view of them. So then you see heads butting, and then people saying things that are not nice, right? And then they report to the admins, and then there's like, oh my gosh, here we go again, junior high.
I'm getting stressed out just listening to that.
It's just human nature.
It is.
And we're women. We know how that rolls.
Oh, we do. So
my encouragement to our humor consumers would be to take it with a grain of salt. If you join these groups, just kind of, you can follow along without saying anything for a while just to kind of get the vibe. And then if you're feeling it, like these are your people, this is like a community that you can jump in on. You don't have to marry the group. You can just date. You know, you can just sort of hang out there and get out of it what you need and contribute, you know, with some encouragement to others. But you don't have to participate in this, you know. You have to be extreme this way or that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is. I did leave.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Once I was kind of done, you know, and now I'm not obsessed anymore about thinking about my gray hair because it's all one color. Well, it's not one color, but it's all natural now. And although I do sometimes still think about it because there's people that I haven't seen for years, you know, and I think, oh my gosh, I look so old. But I am older. I'm way older than I was back in high school, you know, and I love my gray hair.
Well, it's very beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, you are blessed.
Yes, thank you. Now, what have you got over there, sister?
Well, I have some fun. Did you know that the natural state of one's hair in the follicle is white anyway?
Really? Before it comes out of your head?
It's white before in its original state. So it changes color once it comes into contact with melanin.
Now, wait a minute. When you say original state, does that mean when it's under the surface of your head?
Yeah, there's so many, you know, different terms. So like there's the cell, the follicle, there's I didn't bother to record all of those technical things. But yeah. And so the melanin is a pigment that determines skin and hair color.
Cool.
So then when we get older and we're aging, that melanin is hindered. So that's, yeah. So the pigment can no longer color the hair. And that's why it just comes out the way it originally was, white.
Well, there you go. I'm surprised that someone hasn't tried to figure out how to make that melanin stuff and stick it back in you.
Well, they're probably,
they're probably working on it.
And hair cells naturally have portions of hydrogen peroxide. And aging causes that buildup.
Okay.
So that's, and did you know that gray hair needs SPF? No longer has natural protection, the melanin, from UV rays.
So is there sunscreen for your head?
There must be. I didn't get that far because I was just fact searching.
Well, I do know this from experience, having this white hair that I have. If I go out in the sun, which you know I don't, but if I did, it would turn yellow, my hair.
Right. That's correct.
So they say to wear a hat.
Yeah. So you can wear a hat. You can, I suppose, find a sunscreen for your hair if you don't want to wear a hat.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Anyway, and I thought this was interesting. The most common type of human hair is on the head and body because, believe it or not, there's other hair, like when you're first born, it's all over you. Most people call it peach fuzz.
Oh,
you know?
right.
Anyway, the name of that is called terminal hair.
Really?
Terminal. To me, that sounds so grave.
Right.
And is hair alive or dead, Tracy?
I think it's dead.
It is dead.
It's like dead cells or something.
Yeah, it's dead.
Okay.
That's why it doesn't hurt when
to
it's
cut.
cut.
Right. Thank God it's dead.
Yeah, and fingernails and hair are the same matter, really.
Really?
Yeah, that's why they don't hurt either.
Okay, so that's why biotin, sometimes during my grow out process, I was taking biotin to try to hurry it along, and then I got lazy with it and I said, forget it. But it said on the bottle, biotin for hair and nails. It was like to help both.
Yes, that's right.
I don't know if that works, by the way. I guess it can't hurt.
Well, they can look it up.
Yeah,
I
Google
guess.
it.
Right? And how many strands of hair does one normally lose per day, do you think?
Over 100.
50 to 100
Oh.
from your follicles.
Well, in our case,
I
especially
know.
me, I lose.
No.
Gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, same. I
A
can't even
lot.
believe I have hair.
I
I
know.
lose so much.
Catherine and I both have super thick hair and have had, you should see some of her baby pictures. We'll have to post them somewhere because they're quite funny. She looks like she has a big shag carpet on her head.
Yeah. That's about it. Fingernails and hair are non-living material. Do you remember when we had that conversation and I said that I thought that hair was bone.
Oh, yeah.
And we had this
And I said,
we
it's
had
not
this
bone.
little debate. And I said, well, it's bone though. I had heard that somewhere along the line.
You're thinking of your teeth. Your teeth are
Actually,
bone.
teeth are not bone.
What are teeth?
They belong in the same category, I think, as fingernails
Really?
and hair.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's to do with keratin, I think.
Yeah.
And proteins and so forth. And your nose and ears are cartilage, which is not considered bone
Well, I knew
necessarily either.
Didn't you know that? Because that's why your nose and ears can flop around.
Well, I thought it was still related. I thought it was flexible bone.
Oh.
Not the earlobe, but the
Right, I know what you're talking about.
And the nose.
Well, fascinating enlightenment from Catherine. Is that it?
That's it.
All right. Well, very good.
Mhm.
Well, we always like to leave you with a little inspiration.
Mhm.
And so today we chose the verse Proverbs 16:31. It says, "Gray hair is a crown of glory.
Yes.
It is gained in a righteous life."
Mm-hmm.
And I really do want to encourage myself and you and our humor consumers. Ladies, this life is a gift.
Mm-hmm.
God has given us a gift. Let's age, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just age gracefully
Mm-hmm.
and have fun. And let's just wear that crown of glory with pride and look that 15-year-old pimple-faced kid in the face and say, I don't care what you do or say.
I got some wisdom here.
I got some
See?
wisdom.
I'm mature.
I'm mature. So bless you, and we will see you on the next one.
We will.
All right.